Now the third component, which Sacred G unlocks energy for you, again, remember that Sacred G doesn't just give you energy. Sacred G walks you through a process which generates more energy for you from within. Okay? This energy is your energy. The regulators, all the vibrations, everything that's set with Sacred G is all customized specifically for you, for your experiences. It's your body that's actually running this energy and this development and healing process. Now there's a development system that every single body has built into it, which is what I've been kind of walking you through this process. But our experience of Sacred G is all completely unique and all customized for us individually. So this is part of kind of how Sacred G works. Now, I'm talking to you about this because the next phase is actually built off your belief system. And your belief systems are how you like things, your perceptions. Do you like experiences in life to happen real fast? Do you like them to happen real slow? Is there certain parts of your life that you like fast, certain parts that you like slow? How do you set all your regulators for how you experience life? And that's what this next phase of Sacred G does, is start opening up belief systems that you've created throughout your life, some because of passion, others because of trauma. And when we start focusing into these belief systems, what we'll start to find, or what you'll start to find as you go through this process, there's a lot of belief systems that aren't really serving you anymore. And there's really no reason to have them. In fact, a lot of belief systems is our brain beating itself up and beating us up, telling us that we can't do it, or that we're not enough, or that we're not smart enough. We have all these belief systems inside, and what are they there for? They're sitting there telling us things so that we don't expend our energy. Remember what we were talking about before? When the body is in a survival state, it does not want to expend energy. It wants to conserve it. So as soon as you start thinking of new ideas and new places to go and what to do, your body's like, oh no, we could just sit here. We could just relax. Let's watch some TV. Let's do something less strenuous. But when you start opening up your body now, and this is where that next phase, you know, from clearing up all the energy from the toxin, from cleansing the toxins, and clearing out all the emotions from past memories, you start opening up energy. And your body starts to feel better and starts to come out of this survival state. Well, now all these thoughts and belief systems have to be reconfigured. So there's a whole process that you have to go through, going from, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't do that, to, hey, I'm open, let's go, let's try it out, let's give it a shot. You know, I've never experienced that before, let's do it. You know, and jumping in and actually immersing yourself into part of the game. And that's the belief system. So this phase is actually the Sacred G Ascender design, which will unlock or open up your belief systems. Now, another thing that the Ascender design also does is it starts taking information systems, in other words, beliefs that you have that conflict with each other or are in separation. Now, if you've ever heard of like post-traumatic stress disorder or multiple personalities, what happens is anytime that the body is induced with a massive emotional state or a massive amount of emotional energy, especially if it's negative, because your limbic system is actually directly connected with your frontal lobe, which is what's responsible for organizing all your belief systems, and that's the Ascender again. Well, if you induce a massive amount of negative emotional energy, it forces your frontal lobe, all your beliefs, your personality, your identity to actually split. And when it splits, it goes from one unified self or identity to two separate halves. And they're in opposites. They're in opposite polarities. So those are things like bipolar, things like depression, schizophrenia. All that is actually induced through traumatic states or not properly wiring the brain, you know, as you're growing up through childhood. So one of the things that the Ascender does is starts taking all these opposites and these two halves, and as you clear out the negative emotion from sleeping, it automatically forces your frontal lobe or your brain to start solving conflicts. And when you take two pieces of information that are in conflict with each other, and you find a unifying piece of information, you get this third piece up here, which unifies these two. We get out of this land of the opposites and we move into a unified state. And this unified state, well, all of a sudden now we have a new piece of information. And with a new piece of information, we have a new perception. And a lot of times you'll start talking, especially with the Ascender and this phase of Sacred G technology. A lot of times somebody will ask you about something, you'll start talking, and you're like, wow, I've never really thought that way before. And you're actually seeing some of the changes that are taking place internally, but you're seeing them in hindsight. This is one of the most amazing processes, especially for people who value information so much and have amassed a massive amount of information and really are in the game of figuring out how everything works, because the Ascender will literally start solving pieces of information for people. It's absolutely amazing. Now, what starts to happen, if you have this identity in this self over here, and you have another identity in self over here, and all of a sudden you eliminate the things that are causing separation between the two of them, what they do is they come together into this bigger personality, this bigger identity. And this bigger identity contains more energy because you've got more active neural activity inside of your brain. So if you've ever had that experience before where you start making these internal connections and you finally get it, and you get this rush of energy and you get tingles down your arms and your legs, and you're just kind of vibing with energy, that is actually what has happened, is two different identities have solved conflict and actually joined and integrated together. So this is essentially kind of putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. So that's essentially what this process is. Now, as you start to increase the size of your identities, confidence goes up. With confidence comes increased energy. You feel like you have more energy. That's because you have more neural activity in your brain and more communication going on through your body. You can quickly make decisions. You can take a lot more information in at once. You can see larger patterns because you can see more information at once. In other words, you can download more information actively into the neurons in your brain so you can detect larger patterns. The bigger the pattern that you can see in life, of course, you start becoming aware of major belief systems that drive all of your actions throughout your entire life so that you can set yourself free from those. You start to see patterns in your business, in your job, in the way that you spend money, in the way that your relationships happen. You start to identify how to see more information at once, but those all end up leading to creating smarter, wiser choices for you in the long run. So that's one of the amazing things about the Sacred G Ascender design, is its ability to unlock new information for you, unlock new perceptions, overcome belief systems that conflict with each other, and really just open up your mind to new information, to new experiences, and to let go of that overwhelmed feeling of not understanding where we are and not having that conscious understanding of who we are as well. So that's just a few things about the Sacred G Ascender.